And welcome back to Sports the NEMO Way, the Carolina Panthers episode. And today, we actually have a guest that showed up for his episode. It's been a hot minute. But Buddy is back.
Hey.
He's back. Last time you were here was all the way back in a Kevin Garnett episode. And so it's been a few months probably.
It's been a while, but congratulations to you guys. You guys are doing a kick-ass job on all your episodes. You guys rolled right along with the NBA stuff and picking up where you left off in the NFL. So you guys are doing a great job. You can definitely tell from your first episode to now, you guys are really getting in a good swing of things. So congratulations to you guys.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
I appreciate that very much. All right. Well, we have the five of us and Buddy, so six of us here, plus another Panthers fan sent their list. So we will have quite a few lists spinning out here tonight.
Still amazes me there's more than one of us around this area.
Yeah, that's a little crazy. All right, well, let's get started. Drew, who is your number 4 Carolina Panther?
My number 4 is Thomas Davis.
Oh, Thomas Davis. Yeah. That's a nice pick. I did not have him, but...
Yeah, I really wanted to put him on my list, but the 4 that I have, I couldn't figure out who to knock off because I really like Davis.
Yeah, he was a force. I think he kind of fell in my honorable mention stack, but I didn't have him on my list either. He had 4 different ACL surgeries, and still found a way to lead the league in tackles over the franchise. So, played Super Bowl 50 with a broken arm. He got a cast put on and went out there and did his thing. So, yeah, he was a man possessed. I really enjoyed Thomas Davis.
Oh, awesome. So is Drew the only one with Davis then?
I think so.
All right. Drew, you got anything to talk about Davis?
Just 3-time Pro Bowler, 1-time All-Pro. He's got 1,200 tackles for his career, so... He played 13 years in Carolina, so he was pretty loyal. That's probably one of their longest players that's been with them for their short time as a franchise. So.
And he has a defensive touchdown, right?
Hey. Good man.
Yep. All right. Well, anything else to add, Drew?
Nope.
All right. Thomas Davis, I think a worthy addition. Wade, who would be your number 4, good sir?
My number 4 was Cam Newton.
He's my number 4.
Cam is my number 3.
Cam is also my number 4.
Yeah, he falls in my number 4 spot too.
He falls in Brenda's number 4 spot as well.
All right.
Is that the first time you guys have ever agreed on one?
No. We get some unanimous picks from time to time. Drew, did he not make your list?
Nope, he did not.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
That's going to be
A
interesting.
little shocker in there, eh?
Well, I put old Thomas instead of Cam.
Yeah,
Okay.
What's the hate? Come on, spill it.
I don't know. It's just...
There's got to be.
I like Cam, but it was he just fell off. Like, I don't know. He just broke down so quickly. Like, we got his MVP, took him to the Super Bowl, and then all of a sudden the next year, I mean, it wasn't just him why the team started being bad. The defense, Josh Norman did all his stuff, and Cam just...
Yeah, there was a big downfall. I mean, he went through a stretch where he got in a car wreck and broke his back. I know that probably had something to do with it. And I think the big thing that really was his downfall was he had a throw against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think at that time they were 4-1, something. They were just plugging away. And he had a throw against the Steelers where he got hit in the shoulder. And after that, you notice game after game, it was like he could not throw the ball 20 yards downfield. He kept trying to fight to be in the games. And because he was dynamic, he could run also. And so he was still trying to fight to get in the game. And let's be real, who'd they have behind him at that time? So ever since that hit against the Steelers, everything went downhill. It's crazy. It really is, because it happened out of nowhere, it seemed like. So
yeah.
That's why I was curious about why he was kind of got left off the list. But he put up some big numbers while he was there.
No, he did, yeah, for sure.
He's a career Panthers leader in passing yards, passing touchdowns, rushing touchdowns in a season. He put the dual threat quarterback on the map. So I know there's been others before him that did it, but he he made football fun in Carolina. He brought a lot of fans in the stands, and he made it fun. So, yeah, I think he's a worthy number 4.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't he the all-time leading rusher for a quarterback right now?
He has the most rushing attempts for a quarterback of all time, but I'm not really 100% sure if he has the yards. I'm kind of browsing through, kind of looking at some of the accolades and stuff like that.
His most touchdowns by a quarterback
Yeah.
rushing.
And
Yeah, that's 75.
Yeah, I don't think he has yards.
I think
Okay.
those are going to be shattered here in the next few years, the way the quarterback position's taken off. So,
Well, Lamar's on his way to just tear
Oh,
apart the
yeah.
rushing stuff.
Lamar's going to kill yards. I don't know if Lamar will catch Cam in touchdowns.
Cam scored a lot on like 1, 2.
Cam was like a
yard
power
line.
runner on top of being
Yeah.
an
His-
elusive runner.
his
Oh,
rookie
yeah.
season was outrageous. Like, you're like, oh, okay, this is
Yeah.
what we're going to do.
Like, Lamar doesn't rack up the rushing touchdowns the way Cam did. Now, yards, he destroys everybody. But
Yeah, Lamar so far in his career has 3,800 rushing yards and 22 touchdowns.
yeah,
Cam Newton has.
It's actually Michael Vick who has the most career rushing yards
Oh, okay.
as a quarterback. 6,109 to Cam's 5,628. And it's funny because Lamar Jackson has played less than half of those games, and he's already at 4,000 rushing yards.
Yeah.
He's just shy of it.
So like 1,800 more yards, and Lamar will catch Cam in yards. He has a long way to go in touchdowns. But I mean, Lamar's had 2,000-yard rushing seasons.
Yeah.
He rushed for 1,200 yards in 2019.
Fantasy. That's insane to think about. There's not even running backs in the league that do that. You know,
It's just, can he stay healthy?
we'll see.
yeah, that's going to be
Yeah.
a question going forward.
Well, this is a big year coming up because if he gets hurt again, Ravens may not give him that much money. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly.
I think it's crazy how he's gambling on himself, and so far it's turning out pretty well for him.
Well, here's my thing: is like we've seen 2 quarterbacks gamble on themselves recently.
Both
Kirk-
for the Ravens, Joe Flacco did it.
Oh, did Flacco did it?
Yeah, he
I
did
was-
it that Super Bowl year.
Right, Super Bowl year.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah,
turned
we
out
saw-
pretty well for
Turned
him.
out for him. It didn't turn
Yeah.
out for the Ravens because he sucked after that.
Well, screw the Ravens. He got his bag,
Yeah.
you know.
But Kirk Cousins did it, and it turned out game busters for him. But then the one that surprised me is Dak did it, broke his leg, and still got the bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just a cramp, Alex.
I was watching that game. His leg was like dangling like this. It was nasty.
But it was just a cramp. I remember that said, hopefully it's just a cramp when his ankle's dangling.
Yeah, that was not cool.
Sorry, that makes me grin.
All right. Does anybody have a number 4 left?
No.
Anybody?
I do.
Oh, you do. Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
My 4 is Luke Kuechly.
He's my number 3.
He's my number 3. He's my number 2.
Flip flopped.
He's my number 2.
So that's what, everybody?
Buddy, did he make your list?
No. I mean, yeah, he definitely made my list.
So
I'm
that's
trying
a
to-
that's a
I'm trying to-
unanimous,
I'm
right?
trying to figure where I'm going to
Yeah.
put him, honestly. It looks like he's going to make my number 3. Yep.
Okay.
All right, so unanimous Luke Kuechly. Well, he's a 7-time Pro Bowler,
7-time All-Pro.
7-time
5 first teams. He did all that in 8 seasons.
Yeah.
He's got over 1,000 tackles in 8 seasons. He's got Defense Player of the Year.
Pretty
Rookie
close.
of the year.
977 to be exact.
Not that no one's keeping track, but he's that guy that's what if, you know, he'd still be playing. He had 7 straight seasons of 100-plus tackles, you know. I'll never forget that game against the Cowboys during Thanksgiving where he picked off Romo, took it to the house, just completely gassed, got right back out there and intercepted the next play. You know, he's the crazy what-if story, you know.
His last year in the league, he had 144 tackles.
Yeah. He's that what if. It's insane. He could command a field. He would watch so much game film. The quarterback would go up to the line, and he would call the play that they're going to run. And he's telling Thomas Davis, they're running the sweep to the left. And sure enough, someone said, I know they do the ESPN Top 100 for like the year previous. Someone said that he should be number 1 because we played him and he called accurately 80% of our plays that we ran, just based on our formations and what we were doing. And he said they shut us down. So he was a workhorse in the film room and on the field, and he's a pretty good dude. So
Yeah, 8 years he had 18 interceptions. It's pretty good for a linebacker. Return 1 for a touchdown. He also has a fumble return for a touchdown. Here it says he has 1,092 tackles.
well, then I apologize.
I mean, I don't know. We get that sometimes where they get different numbers.
Sure. I know Thomas Davis is the leader in tackles for Carolina, but it's pretty close. And you think about how many years he played compared to Luke, it's staggering.
It says that Thomas Davis had 1,098 tackles in Carolina, which would be 6 more than Luke Kuechly.
And you think he had 18 interceptions, and the franchise leader has 27. And they played in nine or 10 seasons, and he was a cornerback.
Who was it?
Chris Gamble.
Oh, I remember Chris Gamble, yeah.
So for a linebacker to do it, like you said, it's pretty insane. I mean, it is insane.
Yeah, he was a complete force to be reckoned with.
From day one. You know, he won the Rookie of the Year that year too.
Yeah, Rookie of the Year. His rookie season, he led the NFL in tackles with 164. Yep, 12 tackles for loss. He had a sack, 2 interceptions. That was his rookie season. Nuts. All right. Well, that was everybody's number 4, correct?
Yep.
Or was that a start of 3?
Number 3.
That was start of 3.
Number 2.
So, who has 3s left? Wade and Ray. All right, Wade, what you got, buddy?
I have Steve Smith.
That is also my 3.
He's my number 2.
Steve Smith's my number 1.
He's my number 1.
I struggled with this one. I put him as my number 1 also.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you were considering leaving him off. I was like, what's going on here?
No, I was torn between him and my number 2.
Drew, you got Steve Smith?
Yep.
Okay.
He's my number 1.
I just
So
make
does
sure.
everybody had Steve Smith?
Yep. And Brenda also has him as her number 1.
Oh.
Shout out to Brent for doing a
Yeah.
list.
Yeah. She picked Carolina because of the colors, everybody.
She picked correct.
Sometimes you got to color coordinate.
I will say Carolina's colors are cool.
Yeah.
I like the blue and the black. I like that.
Whenever they did the Rush uniforms, they were the sickest uniforms, just all blue. It's like,
It's a
that's
cool
it,
blue,
dude.
too.
It
Like,
is.
I like...
It's not like Indianapolis blue, you know, like.
Hey now.
I mean, it's a cool blue.
yeah.
Blasphemy in this house. Blasphemy.
I will say Steve Smith, hell of a receiver. A small receiver that had a hell of a career. 5'9", 195 is what they have him listed at.
Damn.
That's where I'm sitting too. We
Yeah.
can do the same thing.
5-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro, which kind of surprised me. But he played 13 years in Carolina. He did end up playing a few years in Baltimore at the end of his career. But he did the Triple Crown 1 year as a receiver. He led the NFL in catches, yards, and touchdowns all in the same year.
That's the year he won Comeback Player of the Year.
Yes,
Because he
sir.
broke his leg the year before and came back and just, I still got this. Led the league in all 3 categories.
So who won Offensive Player of the Year?
I don't know.
Because we just saw Cooper Kupp do the Triple Crown, and he got Offensive Player of the Year. And we all know the MVP is a quarterback award.
Offensive
so.
Player of the Year was Sean Alexander. That was the year he broke the touchdown record.
Touchdown record.
Okay.
He also won MVP. So yeah, he ran for 1,880 yards and 27 touchdowns.
Yeah.
All right, I'll give him that.
Oh,
one.
that one's actually understandable. Most of
Yeah.
the time, it's something not. It's
Yeah. No, Steve leads. If you talk about receiving in Carolina, he has all the records. So And even whenever he went to Baltimore, I think there was a huge falling out between him and Gettleman, where Gettleman didn't want to re-sign him. And so he's like, all right, I'll go to – he had great seasons in Baltimore too. And look up the game that he played against Carolina. Like, he almost – I think he might have had like 200 yards and 2 or 3 – like just something outrageous. And he's just like sticking it – yeah, fuck you, you know, just sticking it to us.
Yeah, he went off.
He like – he had a fire in his eyes, which he always did, but it was something different that game. You're just like, oh shit, we made a mistake.
His first year in Baltimore, he had 80 catches for 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns. And then he only played 7 games the following season, so his numbers are down,
Injury,
obviously.
yeah.
But then his last year in the league, he had 70 catches for 800 yards and 5 touchdowns. So
I mean, not all pro stuff, but that's still very solid numbers for an aging receiver, you know.
Your
an
16th
undersized
year in
aging
the league.
receiver. Yeah.
Yeah, if you can still get 800 yards.
Yeah, you sign me up for that, right?
Yeah.
all right, well, Steve Smith, I thought he was a worthy addition to our list. I was like, but when I put him at 2, I was like, man, I wonder if I'll have him the highest, but it wasn't even close. So
I really like Steve.
yeah. Well, I googled it, buddy. The Steve Smith versus Carolina game. There's a bunch of stuff that comes up. I'm trying to sort through it all to figure out what his stat line was.
For some reason, I thought he went absolutely berserk. You're going to make me a liar on air, but 1 catch for 12 yards.
No. He had 1 catch for 61 yards in 1 play. So
Yeah, I was going to say, for some reason, I thought he just went berserk.
I'm trying to find his final stat line here. Sorry. There is a highlight package, but obviously we can't show
Let's not
people
watch
that.
it. It's okay. Yeah, we don't need to see him torching us.
And he also caught a 21-yard touchdown later in the game.
So we're up to like 80-some yards and 2 touchdowns already.
On 2 catches.
Yeah.
All right. So he had 5 catches for 122 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Okay. Well, maybe it wasn't as much as I thought, but he still kicked our ass.
That was just in the first half, Alex.
Oh, that's the first half. My
They
bad.
actually
My
benched him
bad.
because they were beating us so bad, probably.
All told, he finished with 7 catches for 139 yards and 2 touchdowns. Yeah. So a very nice game, especially for a 30-some-year-old.
Not bad for us
35-year-old.
35-year-olds,
Yeah. All right. So does anybody else have a number 2 left?
No.
huh? And I have a number
Oh, yeah,
2 because
I
I
got
have
number
Steve
2,
at 1.
yeah.
I have a 2 left.
Yeah.
I'm guessing
Alright.
your old 2 is R1.
That's probably correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, I assume we're talking about
Jake
Julius-
Delhomme.
old Julius Peppers.
Julius
Yeah.
Peppers.
J-Pep, baby.
He's my number 1.
He's my number 1 as
So-
well.
I struggled with
Yeah.
that.
He's my 2.
He's my 2.
He's my number 1. Obviously.
Well,
So-
guys, we have 3 unanimous.
I ruined it again, guys.
Way to go.
You
Drew.
did.
I've
We
done it
almost had a
twice.
unanimous week.
This was probably the easiest team to do as well.
We had a unanimous
The
week
Bills.
with Buffalo.
Were they?
Yeah.
I can see that.
And then I ruined Jacksonville. I didn't pick. Who's the quarterback?
Brunel.
Yeah.
Brunel.
I put someone else on there.
Trevor Lawrence.
So we're looking at a 9-time Pro Bowler, 6-time All-Pro. He's on the All-2000s and All-2010s team. He is a Defensive Player of the Year. He has 159.5 career sacks. A stupid number.
I think he's the leader.
175 tackles for loss.
I think he's the leader all time in forced fumbles.
He's got 97 in Carolina alone.
Yep, that leads the team. He had 7 seasons with 10 or more there, and he was one of the most athletic freaks
Yes,
of natures
freak.
I've seen.
I think he could have easily played tight end.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
He tipped balls in the air like J.J. Watt will, but he'd catch them and then run them to the house.
Yeah. Playing defensive end, he has 11 career interceptions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at
think
the
he's
same
been-
time, he went to Green Bay and he went to Chicago, where they decided it'd be best to use his talents at outside linebacker in a 3-4 defense, which I think it really hurt his career totals. But since we're just talking about the Panthers, you know, even whenever he came back for the second stint, he had some okay seasons. I think he hit double digits once.
He had 11 sacks his first year back in Carolina and 5 the next year.
Yeah, and honestly, he was a shell of himself in 2018. Whenever he was a rookie, he had the cornrows, and he just looked, you know, whenever he came back, he did the old man cornrows where they were all gray, and he was completely bald on the top, so it just it looked real bad. He was a shell of himself.
He's 38 years old playing defensive line. I mean, that's
he was a big time leader on that team.
he has over 700 career tackles for defensive lineman. It's a big number, like you said. 175 tackles for loss.
Yeah.
That's a stupid high number.
You're talking about how athletic he is. The first time I saw Julius Peppers,
Playing basketball.
he was playing
he?
basketball for the Carolina Tar Heels.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's
They
the first
said,
time
"Yeah,
I
this
saw
is our
him.
star defensive lineman." He's playing basketball for him.
Yeah, he had 12 sacks in his rookie season.
Yeah, it was just amazing.
Yeah, very great. He has 82 career pass deflections, 52 forced fumbles. He has 6 career touchdowns as a defensive player. Julius Peppers was just an all-around really good defensive end.
He'll be Carolina's Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Sam Mills. We got Sam Mills this
Yeah,
year.
Sam is
Yeah.
in now.
Sam, his stats weren't anything to really be like, oh, he only played 3 seasons for Carolina, but they kind of took on his motto, keep pounding. So I think he was more of an influence on the franchise, and I think they just kind of felt sorry for us. So they'll find someone for the Jaguars here soon, I'm sure.
All right. Well, nobody else has a player left, correct?
No.
Nope.
So we only have 5 guys. Thanks a lot, Drew.
I mean, Thomas Davis he's
needed to be mentioned. Because
Oh, yeah.
I thought long and hard, but I didn't know who to drop.
Yeah,
I really wanted to put Greg Olson on. I love
Yeah.
Greg Olson.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
he's
I like
a
Greg
good
Olson,
honorable
too.
mention too. I mean,
Yeah.
I really didn't see that coming whenever he was playing for the Bears. Yeah, he was decent, but then I think I read a stat the other day where he had never dropped a red zone target in his career. Just think about that. If you throw it to him over there in the red zone, he had never dropped one in his whole career. That's pretty crazy. Injuries really killed him towards the end of his year. So
Yeah. I'm really disappointed in Pro Football Reference because they don't have Greg Olson's nickname on there.
oh, Greg the Leg.
Third
Third leg Greg.
Third leg Greg.
There's actually I thought there was a rap or something about him in college.
Yeah, well, if you watch the 30 for 30s, they made the U about like Michael Irvin's generation where they were like really dominant with Jimmy Johnson and all that. Well, then they did the U2 where they were talking about the next generation of the U where they got good again. And of course, Greg Olson is part of that. And Greg Olson and like 2 other players, I can't remember who they were off the top of my head, formed a rap group while at Miami, and Greg Olson's name was Third Leg Greg. and Buddy and I worked together at the time, and we would just walk around our building, and then we would see each other and like say something. Somebody'd say something like "Third Leg Greg," like it was like the dumbest thing, but we did it all the time.
To be young and dumb again.
Yeah, no kidding.
Alex.
Third leg Greg. It's a great nickname.
Yeah, it is.
I think Greg Olson does a good job announcing.
He does. He does do a good job.
He did
Do you
the
remember? Oh, go ahead.
he,
Sorry, man.
he did the Saints Falcons game this last Sunday. I think he does well announcing. I could listen to him.
Saints Bucks.
Saints Bucks, yeah.
Yeah.
It's so crazy how people can translate to that. Like, do you remember when Jason Witten tried to do it? You're like, oh, boy.
Oh, Drew Brees did a pretty bad job
Yeah.
trying to do it.
Yeah,
And I like Drew
right.
Brees, but he did not do a good job as an announcer. Yeah. Well, at one point, Greg Olson had 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons. And then he went from 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons to 100 yards, 200 yards, 500 yards, 200 yards.
Injuries just decimated him, man.
Craziness. All right, well, get off of Greg Olson there.
A little
And
third leg.
so, Drew, What do we got to do to get Cam Newton on your list?
Do we need to go to the boards?
Go to the bar. Get out of here, Ray.
I'm just asking. I'm trying to be polite, Jerry.
Oh. I don't know. I guess I can drop Davis for Cam.
I'll say I can give you a really shiny nickel if you want.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Thomas Davis, we spoke about you. We appreciate you, but you're off the list.
Nope, not tonight.
So that very easily wraps up
Wow,
the
that didn't take
list
much
there.
convincing.
So our 4 Mount Rushmore for the Carolina Panthers are as follows: Cam Newton, Luke Kuechly, Steve Smith, and Julius Peppers. All fairly recent players, but that being said, we're talking about an expansion team, so there's not a ton of history there. So I don't know. Is Peppers or Steve Smith coming to the league first? I should probably know that before I
Yeah,
spoke.
I think it would be Peppers, honestly.
Peppers came in 2002. Steve Smith came in 2001.
Okay, well there you go.
And what
Shows
year
you
did
how
the
much I
Panthers?
know.
What year is the Panthers?
2004. I was a senior in high school. That's when they went to the Super Bowl. Is that what you were
No, I
asking?
mean, what year was their first year?
95.
95. So we only have six years before we have one of these guys show up. So not bad.
We've had some good players on our franchise.
It was better than the Falcons, the
still
last
get
week's episode.
I still think currently we have a great roster. I think we have I think we've had a lot of really good players in our franchise. I really do.
Well, let's think about it this way. Compare your franchise history and franchise success with the team you guys came in with,
The Jaguars, right?
which don't have a lot of team success. I mean, not that you guys have Super Bowls, but you've been there multiple times. You know, how many? You know, multiple NFC Championship games. You guys have an MVP. You have a Defensive Player of the Year.
We went to the NFC Championship game our second year in the league.
Actually, didn't both of you all make the championship games that year? Didn't
Yeah,
Brunell take
Jack.
the Jaguars that same year Collins did?
I don't know the exact on that
It
one.
was pretty early.
The
on.
Jaguars have been like what, 2 or 3 AFC
The
championship
Jaguars
games?
went to 2 with Brunell and 1 with Bortles. Yeah. I was a little surprised that looking it up for the research for the episodes, how little success Leftwich actually had. I guess I remembered him having more success in my head than he did.
They had a little decent run with David Garrard.
Oh yeah, that was when him and MJD were there, right?
Yep.
All right. Well, that wraps up the Panthers portion of this episode, and will lead us into trivia. And if history tells us anything, I'm going to assume the buddy will participate.
Sorry, Ray.
Well, we'll see what happens.
All right.
All right. We ready?
Yep.
All right. St. Brown for the Lions has had 8 straight catches in 8 straight games. Who are the only 2 other receivers to do this?
Hold on. 8 straight catches in 8 straight games.
Yes. They're like 8 plus catches in a
Okay.
game.
Okay.
Are they both?
plus catches?
This is
in
of all
8
time.
Yeah, all time.
Oh, okay.
games. And how many players?
2.
We have to name 2 others.
All right, I got my guesses.
I got my guesses.
I don't feel great about it.
No.
I'll go ahead and go. Are you guys ready? Ray, you good?
Yeah.
I picked Wes Welker and Cooper Kupp.
Okay.
I said Jerry Rice and Cooper Kupp.
All right.
Jerry Rice and Wes Welker.
Okay.
I put Jerry Rice and Wes Welker.
Okay.
And I said Rice and Harrison.
Well, it's not Jerry Rice.
Oh.
It's Michael Thomas and Antonio Brown.
I was
Wow.
actually pondering Antonio Brown and Wes Welker, but I
know.
guess I wouldn't have got either one.
You think for an 8-game stretch, the greatest receiver of all time didn't have 8 or more catches. I don't know that.
Well, I didn't throw the ball nearly as much back then, I guess. So. All right, who would like to go next?
I can go.
All right.
All right. In the top 20 all-time in passing yards, Brady's number 1. Talked about Matt Ryan last week. He's number 8. There are 3 other current players in the top 20. Who are they?
I'm not trying to be a dick. I did not hear anything you said. Could you please repeat the question?
Pretty much there's 5 current players in the top 20 all time in passing yards.
Okay.
I gave you Brady and Matt Ryan. Who are the other 3?
Thank you.
Everyone just started retiring, like Drew Brees, Ben Roethlisberger, Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, that is very true.
Crap.
I think one of them is very obvious, but then now I'm stuck after that.
Yeah, I'm just like,
I gotta think here.
I'm going to go by each. Ooh. I got a wild card as my third one. I got 3 names wait for you.
I got 2 so far. I gotta get another one here.
I'm stuck.
I gotta do. I got a long way to go. I got 1.
Dang. You
Promise
sure we can't write Ryan or Brady down?
Promise you I'm not cheating.
Man, this is a good question, but this is hard.
It is.
Whenever I need to think of go through teams in my head, I always have a brain fart. It
That's what
happens
I'm
to me
doing
every
this right
time.
here. I'm just looking at the team's
Yeah,
logos so
just
I can
trying
just
to
kind of
think.
remind myself.
All right, I got mine.
Yep.
All right, I think I'm good too.
I feel all right about my answers now that I've actually written them down, but I'm not guaranteeing I'm right.
I'll say I don't feel good about mine.
Drew, you got yours?
Yep, I do.
I got 3.
All right, here we go.
Do it.
Rodgers, Flacco, and Stafford.
That's what I said. I said Stafford, Rodgers, and Flacco.
I said Stafford, Rodgers, and Cousins.
And
I
I
said-
said, oh,
Go ahead. You're good.
okay. I said Flacco, Russell Wilson, and Rodgers.
I said Stafford, Rodgers, and now I feel stupid after saying it. I said Derek Carr. I didn't think of Russell Wilson or
They
those
got
other
it.
guys. Flacco. I forgot he was in the league.
Oh, yeah, Alex.
Me and Drew?
Yep.
Whenever I
Sweet.
looked at the Jets logo, I'm
I got
like,
Stafford and
Zach
Rodgers right away. I was
Wilson.
like, oh, Flacco. I forgot he still played for the Jets. I was
"What's up,
trying.
guys?"
He's 18th he has over 40,000,
Yeah, that's crazy.
something like that.
You know, him and Ryan came in the same draft, and there's 20,000 yards difference between them.
There is, yeah, pretty much about 18,000. Flacco's been a backup though for a few years now.
Yeah.
That was a good
Yeah.
question. I totally forgot about him.
So what do you guys think? Speaking of him, he's not backing up right now. What do you think? I can't remember his name now. The young
Zach
kid.
Wilson.
What's Zach Wilson going to do when he comes back? Because Flacco looks good in this offense.
Do you take him out? You let him just keep sitting and watching?
I
I mean, you spent
know.
the second overall pick on him.
Yeah, I think
like,
you got to play him.
but
What
at
do you
the
do
same
with
time,
Trey
you've seen
Lance
teams-
now if the 49ers end up
Right,
doing
they
good?
gave up a haul for that kid.
Yeah, he's got to come back and get a chance. I think Jimmy G's gone at the end of the year. I think he's tired of playing this game with him. But I think Trey Lance, I mean, he still has 3 years on this rookie contract to try and prove himself, but he's looked bad every time he's been on the field.
Is it going to be one of those Mitch Trubisky things, like we've invested a lot in this guy, or Carson Wentz things, like we've
Yeah.
invested a lot in this guy? He's shown flashes, but they never really amount to. Is it going to be one of those deals, or
I don't know. I mean, here's the thing with him. He didn't play in college. So they were like, wherever he goes, he's got to get reps so he can, get those reps under his belt. Well, now he never gets reps.
Right. Yeah.
So, is he ever going to get there at this point? That's
and also you don't want to just get someone reps whenever you're
loaded.
in the NFC Championship game last
Right,
year.
Yeah.
I mean,
Let me
you
just
gotta
get out
check
there
that.
so you get a feel for things. Like right now is the worst time just to get reps. You know, you need to get that roster back to a championship game. So I never understood why they went away from Jimmy. I know he didn't get them over the hump, but he's gotten them pretty damn close.
Here's the thing. I feel like, this is just my opinion, I feel like they think our roster is loaded. That's why we're in the NFC Championship game, not because of Jimmy G. Jimmy G takes care of the ball and keeps us in games, but he has no ceiling. His ceiling is low, but his floor is high. You know, with Trey Lance, his floor is super low, but his ceiling is also super high. So, I think they're banking on the ceiling instead of the floor, but Jimmy G raises that floor considerably.
Yeah, right now where Jimmy's at, he's on the 10th floor, and we haven't even seen the second floor out of Trey Lance yet. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't understand just getting reps right now at this point in time. We've seen a lot of quarterbacks sit and wait and do just fine. So, I don't know. We'll see.
All right. Whose question was that?
Mine.
Oh, so you ready, Uncle Doug?
Yep, I'm ready.
All right.
Okay. Obviously, Kerry Collins was the first number 1 pick ever for the Carolina Panthers.
Obviously.
Who was their second number 1 pick the next year?
Ooh.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
How many of you guys would have known where Kerry Collins went to college?
Penn State.
Yeah, that was my backup question.
I wouldn't
Oh,
know that.
thank
either.
God you didn't say that one.
Ray's like, we can't have to guess.
This is going to be an offensive lineman, isn't it?
It's gonna be. I gotta try and think of someone from the. Was it 97 draft, 96 draft?
96, yep.
All right, I got a answer.
I don't even know if this guy played in the 90s, but I'm guessing.
Yeah, I'm struggling with my time period here, but I got a guy that was, I would assume, went high in the draft because he was good.
I don't know. I honestly wasn't alive for it. I can't even guess.
I'm just going to say right now, I'm sorry, Ray. I'm getting this one right.
Everybody got an answer but Drew?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, go for it.
Khalil?
But Jordan Gross or whatever.
I don't know.
A little bit later time frame for both of you guys. Timanga Biaka Batuka.
It's Buddy's all-time favorite
That
player.
is my favorite player of all time. He
Yeah.
was the only reason why I started liking the Carolina Panthers.
The
so,
guess.
Yeah. From Michigan. What a boss. Yeah. Timanga. Give me a bonus point for spelling it right, too. You know?
Yeah, when you mentioned the jersey,
You're like, oh, shit, he's got 3 of them?
He's going to
Yeah.
get this one right.
Well,
But I
yeah.
knew you'd know where Kerry Collins went to college, so
I don't know. I just don't. I mean, I guess it was a different day then, but running backs just don't go high in the draft anymore, so it doesn't even think about being a running back.
I think he was the number 8 pick. And he had 2 pretty good seasons, but his knees just fell apart.
Mm-hmm.
He was released like in 2001, I think, so he didn't really have a great career, that's for sure. But you my boy, Timmy.
All right.
Okay, I got some questions too, unless somebody else has to go.
Go ahead.
Oh, or is it your turn?
But you can go first.
Okay, I got 2 questions, okay?
All right.
All right. So, in the 2001 season, Carolina Panthers started the season off 1-0 with Chris Winkie as their starting quarterback.
Oh, Chris Winkie.
They finished the season 1-15. Who was the number 1 overall pick in the 2002 draft?
Hmm.
All right.
I got an answer.
Did Chris Winkie ever do a commercial for Twinkies? Because if he didn't, Hostess totally missed an opportunity.
They failed.
Winkies, Twinkies.
You can't tell me. You could not sell that.
All right, I got an answer. Everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I said Peppers.
I said Peppers.
I said Peppers.
Peppers.
Nothing.
Okay. This was a trick question. In 2002, the Houston Texans became a franchise, and they were automatically granted the number 1 overall pick. They took David Carr with the first overall pick. Julius Peppers fell to the Panthers at number 2.
Wow.
I didn't even think about the Texans. coming in.
Losers.
No, that was a tough one.
That's pretty good.
All right. So, my other question, there have been offensive players of the year since the 70s. That's when they came about. Only 3 players have won Offensive Rookie of the Year that are not a quarterback and not a running back. So who are those 3 players? Not a quarterback, not a running back. Offensive Player of the Year.
Offensive Player of the Year.
Oh.
Not a quarterback, not a running back. So we're looking at wide receivers and tight ends.
All 3 of them are wide receivers.
Huh.
I'll give you a point for each one you get. How about that? I make the rules.
Oh, man.
It's Offensive Players of the Year, correct?
Offensive Player of the Year. Yep.
Okay.
It's actually defensive player of the year. You got right. Defensive players.
Yeah. I just want to check before I start writing names down.
This is a hard one because you really just think about MVPs and stuff like that, and like Offensive
Yeah.
Player of the Year kind of gets forgotten about. It seems like.
Swept under the rug.
Mhm.
Yeah. This is a good question though.
Yeah, I got 3 answers.
Are they worth 3 points?
I wouldn't go that far, but we'll see.
I got 3 guys.
All right, I got 3.
I got 3.
Yeah, we'll go.
All right. I said Rice, Moss, and Johnson.
I said Michael Thomas, Cooper Kupp, and Jerry Rice.
Okay.
But Jerry Rice, Cooper Kupp, and Randy Moss.
I said Rice, Cooper Kupp, and Steve Smith.
Now we're with Tony Gonzalez and Gronkowski.
Gronk and Tony. Okay. So the first to do it was Jerry Rice. He did it 3 times, actually.
Ooh.
Okay. Let's see. Let me find the exact dates on it. 1987. And then he did it actually back to back, if I'm not mistaken. No, he only done it twice. I'm sorry. He did it in 93. So 87 and 93. So we don't get another one until 2019. Michael Thomas. And we had our winner last year, Cooper Kupp.
Damn it, Drew.
All 3, baby. Give me 3 points, because Buddy's rules are the best. Boom. Boom.
Whatever.
How many did you get away?
2.
I got 2.
Come on, you got 2, right? Oh, sorry, Alex.
I got 1.
1, okay.
Ray, did you get any?
No. Shouldn't even ask that question.
Yeah.
He didn't even
Yeah.
give 3
2 out
answers.
of 3 ain't bad.
Yeah.
This was your opportunity
Yeah, this
to gain points.
You could have gained points on
And,
me.
and he
Yeah.
told you they weren't tight ends, and you wrote down 2 tight ends.
Oh, I don't know. I'm playing off trick questions here, man.
Thought I was tricking him from the first.
He said, no, that's not tricking, that's lying.
Yeah.
All right, Ray, your question?
Yeah. Which NFL team owns the record for most double-digit point wins in a season?
Oh, that's interesting.
What team has the
Well,
most
that is good.
double-digit point?
I gotta guess.
Me too.
So you either think of someone that has such a high-powered offense that's silly, or someone that has such a dominant defense, and they're like just winning like 13-3. That's what I think of anyway.
Or a team that has both.
Oh shoot! I went with. Has everyone got one? I went with the Bears. That's what I went with.
I'm with the Patriots.
Me too.
Patriots.
I said Rams.
You are correct, sir. 1999, greatest show on turf, Rams.
All right.
Nice.
I was thinking of the undefeated Patriots
That's what I was
season.
thinking, because they
Me
scored the
too.
most points ever in a season.
And
Yeah.
they had 13 total for that season.
That's insane. Like
13
not
out of
only do you
16.
beat people, but like you wipe the floor with them every game. You remember that season?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
that was crazy.
Yeah, I loved that season.
Wish I could.
Thanks a lot.
At least
I've
it's
seen
even with you. I'm not gaining on you. At least not losing ground.
I gotta try and remember how many I've gotten now.
Oh wow!
Today?
Look at that flex.
Yeah.
There's so many.
I mean, you got 3 on Buddy's question. Did you
Oh,
get
did you
any?
get other ones?
I got Wade's earlier
He
too.
got the passing one.
Oh, no, I'm not
Yeah.
gaining on you. I'm still losing
Yeah,
ground.
I'm at
I've only got
5. No, 4.
Shut
Yeah.
up, Drew. Nobody cares. All right, here's my question. Which Panthers QB holds the team record for most yards in a single season? Passing yards in a single season.
I'm sorry. I was Googling something. What did you
Oh.
say?
What Panthers QB holds the team record for most passing yards in a season?
Okay.
I'll give you a hint, guys. It's not Sam Darnold.
crying sadly in the corner over here.
I don't even know. I feel like it's gonna be some.
I don't know. I'm just gonna write this one.
I got my guess.
Yeah, I got one.
Wade, Ray, Buddy.
Yeah, I'm locked in.
My marker dried out, but you can barely see.
Give it a
my red.
shot.
I'll go first since my marker dried out, so you don't think I'm cheating. I think it was Chris Winkie. I could be way off, but they lost 15 fucking games, so they had to throw the ball everywhere.
Put
I said Delhomme.
said Collins.
Put Collins.
I went with Cam.
Collins makes sense, and Cam makes sense, but I don't know. I'd still say Chris Winkie.
It's none of them. It's Steve Berline.
Steve.
Berline.
In 1999, Berline threw for 4,400 yards.
That was
That's a lot of
actually my
yards
next
back
guess.
then.
I know they had
Oh,
Moose
sorry.
there,
Wait.
Moose there, and he was
Yeah.
their big time.
And in 1999, that was the 11th highest passing total ever.
It's crazy how the game's evolved, isn't it?
Yeah, we had-
4,400 yards is like.
Yeah, we had somebody throw for 5,400 last year. So
Has the game evolved, or they just not let you play defense now?
That's how it's evolved, Wade.
all right. After this week's tallies, I don't know who made up and lost ground, but I can give you the scores. Drew now has
To be 32.
32. Sorry, I had to count. I had to count my groups of 5 there for a second. Drew has 32. Wade has 27. Uncle Doug now has 22. Alex has 13. The guests have 7. I do know they made up ground on Ray. And Ray has 5. So,
We just can't catch him, Wade.
That is pulling away every episode.
yeah,
2 divisions to go.
we gotta figure.
You got time, boys. You got time.
We gotta figure out how Drew's cheating this time.
This is ridiculous. Anytime I start winning, you say I cheat.
Well, we proved ourselves right last time.
No, you didn't.
We took away what you were doing, and then we all passed you.
You didn't all pass me. Right never passed me. I think I finished 3rd. I got my podium finish.
But you were first.
Okay. At the beginning, we were asking these easy questions about who has the most points all time. Have you seen how our questions have evolved?
I will
They
say,
had like 75,000 episodes to go through.
I remember listening to one, and Doug's like, "Who was the 47th pick of the 1964 draft?" I was like, "Ah."
Well, I asked who Carmelo Anthony's nickname was in elementary school. Tyrone.
oh,
Yeah,
that's
we had a lot
ridiculous.
of dandies.
Our questions did get harder though when we started to get competitive with each other.
Yes.
Yeah, it did. Our questions did get harder.
points.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, we appreciate you tuning in for this Carolina Panthers episode. It was a good one, and we thank you, Buddy, for coming for a Carolina Panthers
buddy.
episode.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me.
And we would appreciate you tuning in next week for some team we're doing that I don't know yet. Is it the Chiefs?
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you, Drew. Tune in next week for our Chiefs episode. My bad.
Kermit the Frog.
And thanks for tuning in to Sports the NEMO Way.